Okay, hello students. So today we'll be discussing about some of the error caused in measurement. So last time we were talking about how measurement should be taken and what should be kept in mind while taking some measurements and all. So today we are going to see what are usually some of the errors that happens during taking a measurement. So heading is errors in measurement. Okay, this is the heading. Now there might be various errors while taking the measurement, and we divide the error in three parts. First one would be a personal error. Personal errors. This is one type of error which usually happens due to the fault lying in the observer. So the one who is taking the measurement, usually this kind of error happens because of him. Either he'll be taking the measurement in a wrong way, such as a parallax error. So suppose an object is this and you are measuring this with a ruler. This is a ruler and you are measuring this object. Suppose this is an arrow. An observer should make sure he is looking it from here. He should be looking this arrow from here. But suppose if he is looking from here, and either if he is looking from here, the point would be differing. So that's why this kind of error is known as a personal error, which is usually done with the one who is taking the observation. Second one is your instrumental error. Instrumental error. So this kind of error usually occurs due to some defects in the instrument. Suppose your inch tape, it has a round structure like this. Suppose your inch tape is having some problem. Suppose this thing is not coming out, or suppose some of the numbers in the inch tape is not given you properly. 0, you don't have 1, 2, and directly you have 5. So if there are some problems like this which is lying in the instrument, this type of error is known as instrumental error. And the third one is environmental error. Environmental error. This kind of error usually occurs because of the environment which is there in the surrounding. Suppose you are measuring any temperature. For that you will be requiring is a thermometer, and suppose if it's a very hot day, that time the temperature of the environment would be very high. So that time while measuring any object with the thermometer, because of the surrounding temperature, there would be some error in the measurement. So this kind of error is known as your environmental error. So actually, if I have to define an error is something where you are getting some values which are not close to the actual value. Suppose you are measuring any temperature. Suppose the temperature should come 100 degree Celsius. That is the exact value it should come with your thermometer, and instead of 100 degree, you are getting 90 degrees Celsius. So that means there is an error out here. So error is equal to actual, it should come 100 degree minus the one which you are getting measured. So that means there is 10 degrees Celsius of error out here. So that's how you define error. Now we are going to see some of the measurement of some physical quantities. So there are many physical quantities, and we are going to see how we measure those quantities. So very first is your mass. I think everyone has heard what is mass. Mass, it is the quantity of matter contained in an object. Suppose there is a ball and the ball weighs 5 kg. So 5 kg is the mass of the ball. So the amount of matter it is inside this mass, the amount of matter present inside this ball makes it 5 kg. And the unit which we are going to use to measure mass is kg, kilogram. It is the your SI unit. We discuss what is SI unit. So it's CGS unit. The smaller unit would be gram. Now basically, in order to measure mass, the instrument which we use is beam balance. Until and unless we are measuring the mass of the human body, we use beam balance. Now beam balance is something like this. You also call it, okay, my drawing is not so good, so you call it tarazu. So someone will be holding from top, you put some vegetables out here, and out here you will be putting some of the measured weight, known quantity. So that is your beam balance. And nowadays we don't see this beam balance, but instead of this we see digital balance. Digital balance. Now in digital balance, what happens, there is a plate out here. In that plate we keep this substance, and there is a box out here which will show what is the mass of that object. So these are some of the instruments with the help of which we can measure mass. Next one is your time. Now time, we all know what is time. So time is the duration eclipse between one event to next event. Suppose today, right now it's morning, and right now it's evening. So tomorrow, after let's say 7 to 8 hours, then it will be morning. So that means time shift is taking place. So it is an duration eclipse between one event to another event. Right now it's evening, tomorrow it will be morning, so it's a duration eclipse. Now the unit in order to measure time is seconds also. Yes, now you all know what are the instrument where times is required are your wristwatch, clocks, stopwatch, and all. Next one we have is temperature. Now what is temperature? Temperature is used to measure the degree of hotness or coldness in your body. Temperature will not only measure what is hot, like sometimes we usually get confused whenever the term temperature is coming. We only consider the hot substance, but temperature, but we should keep one thing in mind, temperature also mean coldness of your body. So even if something is very cold, that time also that thing can be measured. Now it is the degree of sensation of hotness and coldness is your temperature. Now unit used to measure temperature is Kelvin, but we also use degree Celsius and we also use degree Fahrenheit. So these are three units with the help of which temperature can be measured. There is a relationship between these three units, which if it's required we might be discussing on the upcoming chapters and all. And the instrument used to measure temperature, a very important instrument, thermometer. Thermometer is an instrument with the help of which temperature can be measured. Now thermometer were also two type. The old one, which was usually made out of mercury, but there was some problem regarding that. Nowadays we usually use thermometer which is made out of, which are digital type. Now next which we are going to discuss is motion and rest. Now we are going to see discuss what is motion and what is rest. So motion and rest. Now what is motion? if the position of an object, if this is an object, if the position of an object changes with the passage, position of an object with changes with respect to its surrounding with the passage of time is known as motion. So this might be a bit confusing definition, but motion is very simple. You are at one place, and after some time, if you are not there at one place, if you are out here, that is known as motion. Let's say you are here standing out here, point A, and after 5 to 10 minutes you are now at point B. This is known as motion because your position is being changing with the passage of time with respect to the surrounding. Suppose here there was a box, now there is no box, instead of here there is a bucket. So with respect to the surrounding, you are here, now you are here with the passage of time. This is known as motion. And rest is similar, the definition is somewhat same. If the position is not changing, suppose in case of motion, after 5 minutes you are here, now you are here, but in case of rest, you were here and after 5 minutes you are still out here only, that is known as your rest. The position of an object with respect to its surrounding, if it does not change with the passage of time, is known as your rest. After 5 minutes also you are still out here, this is known as rest. Now we are going to see what are some of the types of motion. Some of the type of motion, first one is your translation motion. Translational motion. Translational motion. A translation motion is a kind of motion when all parts of an object move the same distance in a given movement. All part of an object is moving in the same distance. Suppose there is a train and it is moving in one side. This gives rise to translation motion. Now translation motion are also of two types: rectilinear motion and curvilinear motion. Curvilinear motion. Now rectilinear motion means whenever object is moving along with all parts in a straight line is your rectilinear motion. Suppose train traveling. And curve motion means when it is moving in a curved part. Both the example would be of train. If a train is moving in straight line, it is rectilinear motion. When it is moving in curved line, it is known as curvilinear motion. So with this I would like to stop the chapter out here. So later on I will be sending some of the questions regarding this chapter. So in the next class we will again continue it. For now, thank you.